In the last video, we saw Sejun trying out his hands at the new named weapon he got thanks to Theo. Using the short dagger of Keen's, he cut some onion plants and got a bonus skill proficiency boost. To thank Theo for that and for his good sales, he treated him as the sales cat. But when he got too arrogant, Sejun decided to tell him that his 1 hour of being the sales cat was over. Then the cat merchant brought out his ace. That was the collection of spices and seasonings he had gotten from the hunters in exchange for clicking selfies. And Sejun was so overjoyed that he made him the sales cat for 1 whole day. With the new utensils and seasonings, Sejun prepares a lot of dishes for himself and his friends. And despite that, Theo is only interested in plain roasted fish. The next day, he harvests some cherry tomatoes and hands them over to Theo, who does not want a menial job because he is the sales cat. But he gets shocked when Sejun tells him that he is the chairman and still works in the farms. The cat has an idea, and now he plans to become the chairman by working hard, and then he will get all the privileges he wants. After the cat merchant leaves, Sejun harvests more crops and suddenly gets 50% more XP from a bunch of tomatoes. He learns that their rank had improved from E to D, and all their stats and benefits had almost doubled. He is happy and decides to snack on the higher quality and more tasty tomatoes with his friends. Meanwhile, the tower manager has been obsessing over him, and he thinks that the packaged dried sweet potato is much more beautiful than the dragon statue someone made for him. The manager watches Sejun sleeping peacefully with his rabbit friends, but then suddenly wakes him up because there was a monster at the entrance of the cave. Sejun is startled and wakes up, and as the tower manager tries to shoo away the baby bear, it loses its footing and falls down. The tower farmer catches him, and then he is shocked to find that the creature was a baby giant crimson bear. Sejun is shocked as he holds the baby giant crimson bear in his arms, and he wonders if it was the child of the monster who once attacked the cave on a blue moon night. The giant crimson bear was truly humongous and ferocious, and compared to it, its baby looked really small and cute. Sejun is a bit unsure about what to do with the bear cub, who looks quite innocent, but then the tower manager asks him why he caught it. He replies that how could he not catch the baby from falling because it would be quite dangerous for him otherwise. The manager asks Sejun to quickly send the bear out of the cave and says that his mother must be nearby and looking for him. But he does not plan to send away the baby bear immediately, as he sets him on the ground and says that even if he sends him away right now, he will feel bad because the bear is too small. He thinks that it will be better for them to wait for their mother to come back and take him. And the baby bear is excited to see friends of his size for the first time and runs towards them. The tower manager warns Sejun that the crimson bear is a gluttonous monster and he will eat all the food in the cave. And he thinks that the tower manager was just overreacting and says that it was just a small baby. The baby bear tries to be friends with the black rabbit and feels happy when the latter pats his head. He is playing around with the rabbits when he spots the poison honeybees and their queen, and he tries chasing them too. But the honeybees are furious, and as they stare at the baby bear and chase him, he is afraid and runs straight to Sejun for protection. He clings to his feet, and Sejun comforts the bear and then tells the bees that the new guest was not an enemy. He tells the bear that the bees acted so aggressively because he suddenly attacked them, and he tells him not to cry. Then he asks him if he rushed towards them because he smelled something nice from them, and the baby bear can only cry. Seeing him looking so pitiful, Sejun asks the queen bee a favor, and while she does not want to do it, she does it for Sejun with a sigh. She gives the baby bear honey, and Sejun tells him to try it out. The little bear is happy to taste the honey, and as the glutton rabbit pats his head and other rabbits surround him, Sejun says that he knew the bear would enjoy honey, and he must have come here because of its smell. The baby bear finishes the honey quickly and goes back to the tower farmer, who tries to spoil him some more and asks him if he wants more honey. Meanwhile, the tower manager is furious and then suddenly snaps out at Sejun, generating an emergency quest to send the baby crimson bear out of the cave. The reward was a job-related skill, and the penalty upon rejection would be starving to death. The manager then expresses anger towards the baby bear, who is afraid, and Sejun and the queen bee are also shocked. He shouts at the tower manager, saying that this was unfair, the bear was just a baby, and it could not eat enough to make others starve, and he accuses the manager of being jealous. The manager replies that he is just chasing away monsters that can be dangerous to his tower farmer, and Sejun says that he is too much. He says that the baby bear would not have fallen into the cave if the manager had not startled him, and he replies that it was an honest mistake. But now the only thing that was important was that Sejun send the baby bear outside the cave immediately. Sejun hugs the baby bear and says that, talking of mistakes, his coming inside the tower was a mistake too. The tower manager orders him to return the bear outside for the last time, But then, seeing the gloomy faces of the farmer and his rabbit friends, he decides to give up and tells Sejun that he can do whatever he feels like. He is also not pleased and says that how much can the little monster eat, that the manager is all jealous of him. He agrees to reach a middle ground, saying that he will send it outside when it is time. He then lifts up the baby bear, asking him to stand up since the scary thing had gone, and finds that it was sleeping peacefully. Sejun finds him quite cute and decides to let him sleep inside the cave today and then send him back tomorrow. He falls asleep next to the baby bear, who wakes up as everyone else is asleep and begins doing something sneaky. The next morning, the black rabbit wakes up first, and as he comes outside his house, he is shocked to see the scene in front of him. He begins shouting, and Sejun wakes from all the noise and then realizes that the baby bear is no longer next to him. He lazily walks to where the rabbits had gathered and were angrily lashing out at the baby bear, and when he realizes what had just happened, he is also shocked. There were half-eaten carrots and sweet potatoes lying on the ground, and one of their stores was empty, and the baby bear was ransacking the remaining storehouses for more food as he looked at them, not knowing what he was doing wrong. Sejun is devastated, but the rabbits are furious, and the black rabbit even takes out his hammer to beat the baby bear while the others scold him verbally. Sejun checks the remaining storehouses and finds that 1/3 of their sweet potatoes and carrots had been eaten or otherwise damaged, and the bear did not touch the cherry tomatoes at all. The bear then runs to Sejun after being scolded by the rabbits, and he starts crying. As Sejun picks him up, he realizes that the baby bear had grown twice in size overnight, and was now much larger and heavier than before. He realizes that he forgot that plants and animals grow at a different rate inside the tower, and now he is no longer surprised by the fact. But then he remembers the manager's warning that the baby bear would eat all the food in the cave, and now he realizes that he should have listened to him. The manager sends Sejun another message, saying that the baby crimson bears are the biggest gluttons in the tower, and can eat up to 100 kilos of food every day if it is available. Sejun is relieved to get the support of the expert again and apologizes for doubting him. The tower manager replies that he does not mind it since he has apologized now, and Sejun replies that he thought the manager was just jealous because of him feeding the bear cub. The tower manager replies that what was important right now was to send the baby crimson bear away, and even though he agrees, Sejun wonders how he can do that. Ultimately, he takes the help of his friends and an onion leaf rope, which he ties around the baby bear like a harness. After that is done, he asks the team outside the cave if they are ready, and they are also prepared to get the bear cub out. They pull him up using the rope, whose other end is tied to a tree outside, and all the rabbits except the mother rabbit, and all the worker bees use their full strength as Sejun cheers them on. But the bear cub starts to flail as he does not want to go, and as he starts crying, Sejun offers him some honey to calm him down. He tells the baby bear that he should go back to his mom now, and the honey pacifies the bear enough to not resist being pulled up. He wishes Sejun goodbye happily, and then the quest to send him out is completed, and the tower manager gives the reward in the form of a skill called Seed Gathering Level 1, which slightly increases the chance of obtaining better seeds from harvesting crops. The bear cub was dropped home by the rabbits, and as they return to the cave, all of them are tired. Sejun commends them for their hard work, but then everyone feels hungry at the same time, and seeing their supplies thrashed, he asks them if they should eat cherry tomatoes today. A few days later, on an otherwise ordinary day, Sejun and his rabbit friends are intimidated by a giant bear that casts its shadow inside the cave. Everyone is shocked and afraid as they look upward with open mouths at their friend, the baby bear, and his mom, the giant crimson bear, who did not seem to be here to harm them. And on realizing that the baby bear invited his mom to the cave, Sejun panics and fears what is going to happen next. With this, the chapter ends. The baby bear was a surprise, and the way it single-handedly destroyed 1/3 of Sejun's supplies must have taught him a good lesson. But what will he do against the giant mama bear, and will the tower manager step in to save him? Let us find out that and more in the next episode. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and comment, and also subscribe to our channel for more such videos.